me to share the screen?
Oh, yes, sure. Wait me for a second. I will make you a co-host. Yes. Okay. So you could be able to share right now.
Okay, hi everyone. If you can see my screen, please type 9 in the chat, please. You see my screen? Yeah, thank you. All right. So before we start, I want to know you as well. So let me introduce myself first. So my name is Mỹ Ngân, and now I'm studying Master in Education at Trinity College Dublin, and I have been teaching English for some years. And I also like I usually teach writing and reading, and I'm from Ho Chi Minh City, and I usually teach students of A2, like I teach a variety of students, but like the level that I usually teach is A2 to B1. Okay. And they are usually undergrad students. So now it's your turn. Can you quickly tell me where are you from? What level of students do you usually teach? And how many years have you been teaching? Okay. Right. You can type in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and tell me so that I can know more about you before we can start. Just quickly, where are you from? And who do you teach? Oh, thank you, Miss Lang. Oh, you have 20 years in teaching. That's impressive. Anyone else? You just need to give keywords. You don't need to give like the whole sentence. You can also unmute yourself to talk. Oh, thank you. Also, we are like in different parts of Vietnam. I can see Nghệ An here, Cần Thơ here, and Hanoi here. Anyone from Ho Chi Minh City? Anyone from Ho Chi Minh City? Oh, and like we teach at different schools as well. Okay, right. So as I can see, we can, yeah, Dana, right. Okay, so I think it's my pleasure to be here to facilitate our topics today, because I can also learn from you guys. I think some teachers here have even more experience than me, and yeah, I hope that you can contribute a lot to our discussion and also tell us more about your teaching context later on in our meeting. Okay, right. So now let's go through what we gonna do during this section. Okay, so today I'm gonna be in charge in teaching writing and giving feedback section. And the whole section today is that if we have time, we're gonna go through the giving feedback as well. If we don't, I'm gonna give you some articles to read about it. And Miss Hoàng Ngân part is about problems when teaching reading, and also an interactive reading and teaching approach. Okay, right. So before we start, I have some questions for you. Now I will show you some questions. You might type your answer to the chat for me. Okay. Okay, right. So now the first question. Okay. Is writing a process or a product? If you think writing is a process, type 1. If you think writing is a product, type 2. Thank you. I can see some teachers typing here. How about the others? Okay, I can see Miss Lang and Miss Phạm Khánh Linh said both. Writing is both a process and a product. Can I ask Miss Lang, can you unmute yourself and tell me why do you think writing is a process and a product? Is that
yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Yeah, in my opinion, writing is a process because it needs a lot of how can I say? We have to yeah, I think that it has many steps to do it. Yeah, to have a complete product. So I think yeah, it is both process and product.
Very good, thank you. I agree with you. And actually, in a lot of research and in our course as well, writing is regarded as a process and a product as well. At the same time, because like writing, effective writing involves interconnected aspects like um, the development of ideas. I mean, like Miss Lang said, it has the process of how students think of the ideas and process their thinking. And writing, of course, is a product because at the end we produce something. We produce final written text. So writing is a product and a process at the same time. And this has influenced how teaching approaches. Like this influence how people teach writing. So thank you, Miss Lang. And sorry, I'm not sure why I cannot click on it. Okay, right. So writing is both, and that leads to two common teaching writing approaches. The first one is product-based approach, and the second one is a process-based approach. Okay, so now I want you to look at the two diagrams here. Okay, if you learn the course, you might immediately know which one is the process-based approach, which one is the product-based approach. But if you don't, you can make a guess. Okay, right. So I give you some time to look at the two diagrams here and tell me which one is the product approach, which one is a process approach. Type the chat for me, please. Thank you. You can type like one product approach or one process approach. Just like keywords. You don't need to explain. I can ask you later. Thank you. I can see one. Anyone? You think the same? One. Wait for another minute. Yeah, you still good. Why? That's this. But in the future, really. Michael. Okay. Okay, thank you guys. So yeah. Yeah, very good. So yes, the first one, the figure one, is a process approach. You can see there are many steps in it. The focus is how students think of the ideas, how they think the ideas and then revise their writing after stages. So it's the process-based approach. And for the product-based approach, you can see the focus is on the model text, and then students go through stages where they can reproduce a text that is similar to the model text. And the focus is on the accuracy, how they produce a final product, not how they think throughout the process of writing. So that's that. So this is sorry. So these are the common approaches to teaching writing that you that I think you usually use, and I also usually use. Okay, right. So thank you. So now I want you to do a little bit more task. Okay, so now I want you to look at the product approach right here. You can see the diagram with the steps, and I have, sorry, okay, I have a postcard example. Now, you put yourself in this situation when you have to use a specific approach, that is product approach to teaching, and then think how you might teach this postcard example to your students. I give you some time to think, maybe 3 minutes, and then you type your answer to the chat box. Or if you are comfortable, please unmute yourself and tell me how you might teach this postcard example using the product approach, like the stages here you can see on the screen. Is that okay? Is that clear? If you know what you're gonna do, type 6 for me. Yeah, okay, thank you. I give you 3 minutes, okay? I really want to hear from you. If you guys like can unmute yourself and talk about how you teach this, that's wonderful. And today I have I can choose 2 people who received the gift from TESOL. So please be active. You can receive a gift. Okay, so I give you 3 minutes to think, and then you can type or you can unmute yourself and talk to me. One more minute. If you finish, you can type or you can unmute yourself. Tell me how you might teach this postcard to your students. Okay, thank you, Miss Quỳnh. Can you unmute yourself and tell us?
Okay, so to teach this podcast example, I would like to first start with maybe a small lead-in activity by asking my students about their situations or the events that they would like to write or send a podcast to their friends and relatives. And after that, we come to stage 1, which is familiarization. I haven't done any session about teaching writing, but I guess that because it's the product approach, so each stage here has to come up with a product, like something end product of each stage. So for stage 1 of familiarization, I will show the model text and ask my student to identify the structure of a podcast. For example, Dear Andrew is like the greeting. How are you doing is like social greeting, and then come to the main content or main message of the podcast, and then maybe love like a sign off and a signature or something like that to identify the structure of the podcast, and then identify the vocabulary, grammar, etc. After that, they have to like present or like share with me what do they think the structure or the vocab and grammar of a postcard are. And in stage 2, which is control writing, in this stage, I see that focus a lot on the language patterns and sentence transformation, etc. So this will be the focus, I think, will be on the language of writing a postcard. So it's like for your friends and family. So the language might be friendly and social rather than like writing a formal email. So it might be like a casual and informal. So in this part, I will practice with my student and give them some model language patterns for them to practice. For example, try to write the greeting, try to write the first part of the postcard, and in the product of this part will be the student understand and can use can identify the language pattern and practice writing them. In stage 3, which is guided writing, this is when they imitate model text. So this is where I think the teacher have to like guide them through each step of the postcard and teach them one by one. For example, for the first part, what should you write? For the greeting, what should you write? For the opening, for the closing, and for the sign off, etc. And the last one is the free writing. This is where students can produce their own text based on what they are taught during the lesson.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anne. I really love your answer. Thank you. I can see another person raising their hand, but Miss V or some Miss V, right? Do you want to contribute to Miss Nghe answer?
Yes, thank you so much. I really like Miss Nga idea, but and I also want to support her a little bit about the step 3 guiding writing. So for me, for the organization, so I also do the two mind map for it. So the first mind map, so it's all talk about our postcard, and the second mind map, so I will build the same structure with the postcard, but I will give a lot of blanks so the student can fill all of their ideas, and then they will have the first graphic later on free writing. Yes.
You just want to add stage 3?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Miss B and Miss Mia. I think you guys give me a very good answer, and basically it's the product approach is kind of like that. So for the first step, this is just my suggestion. Miss Nga and Miss V answered is little bit different, but overall it's good because there's no right or wrong for this stage. So the first stage, yes, teacher might provide a model postcard, and in this stage, teacher can provide more than one. Teacher can provide two, for example, and the aim of this stage is that student can analyze the text to notice the organization and the language used in this one. So Ms. Nga talked about how she asked students to identify the structure and organization. That's perfect. And normally I can ask students questions based on the provided postcard, or I can do a reading comprehension. Yeah, it really depends on the teachers who decide the task, which task is suitable for which class. So, and we also based on how many students in the class and their level and a lot of things when we teach writing. And the second task I might give student maybe the first one is about how they understand the postcard, and the second one how they understand the organization of the postcard. So Miss V and Miss Nga also mentioned like how the email structure ask students to identify. So normally there are some tasks like label the structure of the email. That's really good for this stage. And yes, I agree. For stage 2, the focus is on the specific language patterns, the grammar, and the vocabulary that students can learn from the text. And that's when teachers give students control practice activities. Some possible activities that when you guys read, people usually suggest gap fill exercises, substitution tables, matching sentence halves, or sentence reordering. Those are very good control practice activities for to help students practice the specific language patterns in the written text. And of course, this can apply to IELTS as well. You know, when you teach IELTS, sometimes you want to make students to produce an essay that look like the model essays of us. So we might have some control practice here in stage 2. And then yes, guided writing. I really love Miss B idea. Like we usually give student prompts, or we can also give student, like Miss B said, it's a mind map for students to know, okay, in which part we might put in which word the organization. Okay, so normally in this stage, we might give student prompts. And then student, for example, here you can see I give student prompt about place, about who they are with, and then places visited and the weather. And students just need to put it in the model structure so that they know, okay, I should write this part here in the model text, right? And then yes, free writing, where we ask students to use the vocabulary and language pattern they have practiced to write a postcard for their own. Okay, right. So thank you, Miss V and Miss Nga again for contributing. And that is how we usually use the product approach to teach writing. So now I want us to discuss a little bit when should we use the product approach in teaching? We have two approaches, right? So when should we use the product approach in teaching? If you can, unmute yourself and talk about it, that's perfect. But if you are shy, you can type to the chats if you want. Or if you are, you're not in good position, can talk, you can type in the chat. So when should we use the product approach in teaching? You can just pick one of the prompts I give you about a student, about a writing task, learning goals, teaching context, everything that you want to talk about, to tell me and to tell us about. Okay, so I give you like 1 minute to think, and then I can I think if I will invite some of the teachers to talk about it. Okay, I give you 1 minute. Okay. Anyone? Anyone have any ideas about when? Oh, sorry. Sorry, this one I have problem with it. High intermediate students rather for less flexible genre like IELTS writing. Anyone else? Anyone else? What do you think?
Hello everyone, my name is Tiny and I want to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Okay, about we should use a broad approach in teaching, rating, and some situation. Number one is about the student. I think the product approach is suitable for A1 to A2 because they need clear models, structures, and language patterns. And the students, most of them want to write correctly by imitating a sample test. About number two, writing task. These approaches work well for structured writing tasks like a postcard, email, short message description, letters, or some reports with fixed format, because all of them have the clear organization and language pattern. About number three, learning goals. Teachers use broad approach when the goal is to focus on accuracy and correct structures like vocabulary, grammar, science patterns, or text organized. So the student learn how to produce a correct final piece of writing. About number four, teaching context. I think a product approach is useful in large classes with limit time and exam preparation classes because it's easy to manage structures and efficient for teaching writing. So in source, the product approach is more effective when student needs clear model, accuracy, and structured writing, especially for lower level learners or time limited teaching situation.
Very good, thank you. Oh, I can see Miss Toàn
Em
want to
không
tell
độ, không
something.
phải ai ngờ.
Hi, Miss Ho, how are you?
Vì có
Miss,
anh xem na.
okay, okay, Miss V. Okay, Miss V. Miss Vivian, right? Okay.
Okay. So for me, for my experience, so the level of student may benefit from this approach. So I use this for my high intermediate student from the primary school. About writing tasks, the type of writing task suitable. I think all of the writing tasks, even this is a fiction, a non-fiction, or a narrative, or describe, they still have a lot of vocabulary, structure, grammar, and especially organization. So we can apply all of that to the writing task. About learning goal, so for me, so as soon as the student can like do some multiple choice through that, they understand about the meaning and about the goal, the meaning from the text. For example, in the stage one, you just explain. So after they can answer the question from the model, so we start to focus on the structure and accuracy. About the teaching context. So again, I think that is from your need. So it is very flexible. Even the large classes or limit time or unlimited time, because we have a lot of technology like Padlets or work so you can organize very wide posts everything can adapt to your class, depends on your need and your student needs. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss V. Okay, thank you, Miss V. And Miss V, your answer are really good. And yeah, I agree with you guys. So for the level student, so actually, I think this one can apply to low level or higher level of student. That's fine. I think it's more about writing tasks, some highly structured tasks, like Miss Thuy mentioned, like um, something that student can want to like reproduce, something like the model text, and it also related primarily on the learning goals where student where the goal of the task is focused on the accuracy and the structure of the text. And yeah, teaching context, I think in my I just think of it from my perspective and from my experience. I think it might be more suitable for large classes and classes where we have limited time, because when we teach process approach, we might go through process approach right now. It takes like a lot of time to go through all the stages. So normally I might use this one in classes where I have limited time and it's quite pretty big classes. Okay, so thank you for your discussion, and we move on to this one, the process approach. Okay, so for this process approach, I also want you to think how you might apply the stages in like the stages of the process approach to teach this writing task to your students. Okay, so I want you to access this link. You can use the QR code here, or you can use the link in the chat box. Miss Win or Miss Ning, can you pass the link, the Google Docs link to the chat in Zoom for me? Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Win. So I want you to access this link, and you might use. Okay, I might show my screen. Okay, so here's our handout today. And later on, I might post also some links to the materials, as well as something that I think is good for you to read after the class here. Okay, so here you can see, please look at task 1 for me. Now I want you to look at the process approach. There are many stages here, and there is a writing task here. I want you to look at this one and brainstorm some specific classroom activities for each stage. If it's too much, I know this one is a little bit too much. You can just like think of the idea, just type 1 or 2 words here, or you can just like unmute yourself and tell me how you might teach this writing task using this process approach. Okay. This task, I give you 5 minutes for this one. Okay, right. No, 3 minutes. We don't have much time, guys. So if it's better if you can unmute yourself, and then we can talk about it. Okay. If possible, you can just unmute yourself and tell me. One more minute, guys. Sorry, one more minute, guys. One more minute. If you are ready, just raise your hand. Okay, can I ask anyone to tell to tell me about this one? Okay, Miss B. Hello, thank you for participating.
Well, thank you so much. For me, the first thing I will select the topic, and we also have the topic, right? And then I will write on the board 4 required elements on the board. What happened and where, who they with, what impressed them, and what they learned. And then so I move to the second tab, rewriting. It's also have brainstorming, collecting data, note-taking, and outlining. So I use the activity for square, mind mapping, and pair interviews. So I will give student piece of paper divided into 4 squares, each representing one of required form section. And then student take 5 minutes to chalk out down keywords and short phrases, like note-taking or collecting data. Next, they pair off and take turn asking each other about WX questions, about their memories, to brainstorm and expand their initial ideas. Next one, I will do the composing, getting ideas down on paper. So I will do the activity free writing flow. The students are given 15 minutes of quiet time to write the first draft, translating their mind map notes into the full sentences to read 200 word code, and then I will emphasize what they should focus on, the getting ideas down on paper without worrying about perfect grammar or spelling at this stage. And then I move to the respond to the craft. I will do the peer review checklist. Like they will check off, read the draft and tick the boxes to evaluate how well of the ideas and organize it include, especially the idea and organize, not about the grammar or spelling. And now that is the time for reorganizing style, adjusting to reader or refining ideas. So I will do all of that. And then next, I will do the teacher mini conference, while the students are finalizing their revisions. a teacher, I will calculate the classroom, do quick over the shoulder check, and maybe give some feedback to individual students to the far graph and the slide. And now I will check in for proofreading and editing. Yeah, and then the student will publish, and then final, I will do the common error board to define what is they lack, like a vocabulary mistake or grammar in the class. That's it.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Miss V. I think you follow very you follow the structure of the process approach, and you also add many meaningful activities to the to the approach. So yes, I agree. The first part, normally the brainstorming part, the rewriting brainstorming, and I really like the activity that Miss B mentioned, where students can think on their own, and then they pair up and then brainstorm together. They can ask and they can learn something from their friends as well. And yes, after the brainstorming part, we're gonna have the drafting part, where students, like Miss Wei said, there are some activities that I think the course recommend us, like what Miss Wei talk about, the rewriting flow, the writing flow, or speed writing, like students just focus on the content, not the grammar, not the accuracy. They just write what they think quickly. And then after that, I really like where normally after the drafting part, we're gonna go to the revising part, right? For the revising part, Miss V recommend the peer feedback. I agree, because in a large class, sometimes we might not have time to go through student ideas and organizations at once. So normally it's the peer feedback. Miss V suggests that we might have the boxes for students to take, or you can also ask student questions, give them to read their friends' ideas and then write it down. Okay. All right. So yeah, and then we come through the feedback, and no, so sorry, we might go through like the stage where students read the feedback and change their ideas, and then they finally teachers can give them some feedback on form. And normally the end of the class is where students can present their own writing to their classmates. Okay, right. So actually we are running out of time. I have another activity for you to guess a game or something, but I don't think we have time. So I'm gonna show you some websites that I usually use to brainstorming. It's really quick. The first one, I usually use Padlet. I think many of you know Padlet. The second one is Mentimeter, where you can have the word cloud and some multiple choice. And WooClap is a very I really like this one, especially when you ask students to write advantages, disadvantages, or courses, problems, something like that. I usually use this one. Student can access it, and they put idea in it. And you can also change the idea between the columns. So I really like this one, and I highly recommend this one. Slido is also a very good platform. It's kind of Mentimeter, but it has more features. And finally, I have my Master. I usually use this one, as you can see, to teach writing IELTS, because students can go on this website together at once, and they can type. And I think this can apply to students who are in high school or undergrads. If it's primary school students, then it's kind of hard for them to use the computer and so on. But this one, whenever I use in my undergrad class, they really like it because they can work on a mind map together at once. So those are the websites and the tools that I want to recommend for the brief writing part. And after this after this meeting, I think I might send you the combination between the process and product-based approach, because we also have that one. So thank you everyone for participation, for your participation. And now I think it's Miss Hoàng Ngân turn. Sorry, it's Miss Hoàng Ngân time. Okay. Hello, Miss Hoàng Ngân, are you here? Okay, right. Okay.
Hello. Okay. So hello everyone, and it's my pleasure to meet you today, and I'm gonna deliver the next section of the content, which is about reading and vocabulary. How can you teach them interactively and engaging to the students? Okay, and for my part, I will give like at the end of my section, I would like to have a discussion with you about how we can apply the framework, the model that I introduced in different kinds of classes like IELTS or CAT or even communication class. So I would like it would be very I will be very thankful if you pay attention to the content and participate in the discussion section later. Okay, so excuse me, but can I have a right to share my screen?
Okay, it's fine. It's fine now.
Thank you so much. Okay, so before we come into the main content, I would like to have kind of like some questions with you about the common problems that you are facing in your reading lessons. So please give like comment in the chat box. Yes, why? Letter Y, if it is yes, it means you face problems in your real classes, or N, equivalent to no, if you have never encountered it. Okay, so in my previous reading lessons, I have students answer the question pretty well, but they just guessing, and they don't really understand the meaning, and they forget the vocabulary very quickly after the lesson. So is that a problem for you all? Please comment in the chat box Y or N, yes or no. When your student can answer the question, but they don't really understand the context, the meaning, and they don't really remember any vocab after that. So do you think you have faced that problem or not? Okay. I see. I think that many of you here face the same problem as me before. Okay. And we will maybe have some, like, listen to some sharing from some of the teachers here after this. Okay. Next, I used to teach vocabulary as isolated word list. I mean, like, I will give them a list of vocab extracted from the reading so that they can learn. And the student will say, learn the word I mean, I learn the vocab word by word. And that's the way that I teach a student. Also, that's the way that my student learn. So, have you ever taught a student by that way? I'm very curious. In my first years of my teaching career, I just teach the student like that. I even have a list of vocab, prepared beforehand, and I give it to my student because I'm afraid that my student won't be able to catch the most important phrases. So I prepare a list beforehand. I give them to my student. My student read it, even write the words in their notes, and that's all. Okay, but the result turns out to be it's not effective at all. The students still cannot understand or even cannot use the vocab that they learned. Previously, glad to hear that. It means everything has changed now, right? Okay, interesting. Oh, Miss Lan Nguyễn, may I ask you about your answer because you said yes and no. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, this is my opinion about these problems. Is the first, my students so often forget about vocabularies after they answer the questions. However, when it comes to the second problems, vocabulary taught as isolated words list, I think that nowadays in many national curriculum, students are taught in topics and the words they learned are used in paragraph or in context. So I think this is maybe to some extent it is completely different from many years ago. And limited interaction with new words. I think it depends because my students they have to do a lot of reading text to prepare for national exams, so they have to read a lot, and they also read or do the test in topics. So the words are repeated many times, and and reading tasks focus only on comprehension. I think this is I think it's maybe varies between students, yeah, and it depends on the purpose of the reading. So I think I can say that this problem is yes and no, yeah, for my case.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Lan. Because I seldom I just like teach the national curriculum program. So it is such a nice insight from Miss Lan to say that even from the textbook these days, right, has changed, and it is designed to integrate more interaction for students from the textbook. And I think that is such a good news for teachers like us. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Lan, for your sharing. Okay, so like in our reading lesson, we face a lot of problems with reading, with vocabulary learning, even with answering the questions, and how to help how teachers can integrate teaching reading and teaching vocabulary at the same time, so that the student can use that effort to improve two aspects of English at the same time. So like in order to do that, I think that is it's better to know some theory, some framework, some research insight, so that you can understand thoroughly understand the core foundation to lead you to any teaching methodology that you are employing now. For example, for me, I really like the vocabulary learning theory from Nation, because like as you can see here, he implied that when you teach vocabulary, it shouldn't be only about meaning or only about pronunciation. It means like when you teach, he emphasized that when you teach vocabulary, you have to consider and help students understand all aspects of the word, like the form, pronunciation, spelling, or the meaning, the concept, or the associations, or the use in collocation or in grammatical patterns. And only when you are able to deliver all of the aspects, the student will have a will be better in using the word, the vocab, instead of just knowing the vocab. So these are, I mean, like one of the most my favorite research, my favorite theory that I rely on it a lot to form my method, to form some of my methods later. Or you can even take a look at the levels of processing theory. Okay, so you can see here we have different level. So for education, like for teaching students, for teaching teachers like us, usually you have shallow processing and deep processing. And of course, I think that we all agree that we should focus on deep processing. I mean, we have to have students be able to analyze meaning and connection instead of just the appearance in spelling or pronunciation. So once you are able to do that, it's called deep processing. So based on all of the research foundation, there are many methodology, many methods that are introduced to teachers to help you teach reading more effectively. And in today's section, I will introduce to you one of the efficient teaching method, and you can immediately apply into your reading classes. I mean, like immediately. I mean, from tomorrow, you can apply it because it's very, very simple for you to apply, which is the 3I reading framework. I think some of you here may have ever heard of this, or even you have applied it in your reading class. So I also would like to listen to your sharing if you have applied it successfully. Okay, so for the 3I reading framework, I have 3 I, with the first I stand for identify, the second I stand for interact, and the last I stand for integrate. Okay, so for the 3I here, I think that it presents 3 stages, 3 sections in a lesson that you can deliver to your student. Okay, identify means you have to have students notice vocabulary. Okay, before you read, they read deeply. It means the student will pay attention to the spelling, to the pronunciation, and guess the meaning, the overall meaning of the word. After that, when they read, they have to interact. They explore the relationship between the words and the ideas so that they can have the deep processing level when they understand the meaning, the collocation, the the phrases, the grammatical phrases that they can use, or even the context that the words should be used in. And lastly, you may see that many students will not, really use the words. They just be able to understand the meaning of the word, which will happen if the teacher only have the student read the text and do the exam, right? So in order for the student to use the words, you have to have the student integrate. It means apply vocab in speaking or writing. And I will show you more, about some tool that you can use in each stage to make your lesson more interactive and more engaging. Okay, for stage 1, identify the word. So you can use some of the tool here, like you can use word. I use it a lot when I want my student to brainstorm the words. Like brainstorm a list of the words, or some guessing activities in the class, vocab guessing activity. Okay, for example, I will show them the images. Okay, and then they will, based on the photos, and get the topic that they have to learn today. And that's from my experience. I also want to listen to your experience. So in the identify stage, do you have any tool like website or application or class activities that you usually employ in your reading class, so that the student can identify the word, the keyword in the text, just like notice the words without deep understanding? They needn't understand the word very thoroughly at this stage. So please, if you have utilized any other sources, and I would like to listen to your sharing. Oh, Miss Vivian, please.
Oh, can you see the picture I just sent to the chat box?
It's loading.
Oh, okay. I want to the first thing. So I asked. I have the word. I have the word, and then I cover some spelling from the word. For example, in the word I sent on the chat box, it is mainstream. So I hide the stream, and I ask the people, the student will guess the word mainstream in 10 seconds. And because of picture, I interact with the notebook LM, so it's also have a lot of picture. That's all of the student and the teacher, and it's also show the river. So it means everyone learning together in one place. So when people see it, so they can recognize a little bit about the meaning, and also because this is the typo wrapping, so they will affect their visual sight, and they easy to go to their brand. That's it.
Very interesting, I think. Okay, so sorry because I have some problem with my slides, so I will share the screen again. Okay, yes, I think it's very interesting. And for me, I most prefer to use visual aid in the identify stage. Just like the mainstream example that Miss Vivian had just explained. And it's very nice, the illustration, really. Okay. Next, we have the interact part, right? So I think it is a stage that most students don't do, or or teacher forget to assist, to guide the student the most, interact. Because when you read, you just simply understand the overall meaning of the text, and then you will let the student answer the questions. However, if you want them to use the reading to even advance their lexical resource, you have to help them know the interactions between the words. It means the relationship between the words, the the meaning that they want to emphasize, the context that you can use the word in, or even some notes when using the words. So in order to do that, you will have the student with by some activities like this. You can use maybe vocabulary map. So I use my map a lot. So I know that teachers, you usually teach a student in vocab in topic, but not many of the students use the list of topic vocabulary that you give them to build a mind map, so that the student can understand the relationship between the words, what aspect of the topic that the mind map is relating to. So mind map is highly recommended by me. Okay, or concept connection. I also use this a lot. So I guess that most of you here also use the technique. Instead of just teach a student a word, for example, the word regional. So in that lesson, in that reading lesson, you teach about topic globalization. So you ask a student, can you please make a sentence that have the word regional, and it talks about globalization topic. So they have to connect the new word regional with the topic globalization. And the result can be very like, okay, so there has been there has been strengthened regional collaboration between Vietnam and Laos and Cambodia. So it is about globalization and to learn about regional. So I really love these two techniques. Or you can use Padlet to ask a student to work together in teams or in pairs, and they share the ideas about how to connect the words. Okay, so from my observation in the academic department in my English center, I see that my teachers, this is a stage that my teachers ignore the most. And how about you guys? I hope that it's just about the teacher in my center. Okay, how about you guys? Do you have the habit of helping the student learn to interact the new word with surrounding words? Can you please write in the chat box yes or no? Have you ever done the interact stage? Yes or no? You help the student understand the relationship between the words or between the words and the topic by using mind map, by using even you can have the student make a story, right, about the topic based on the word list. Okay, yes or no? Or maybe even yes or no, like sometimes you use it and sometimes you forget. So, have you ever used it before? Okay, some yes, some no. Okay, and I hope that maybe after this section, you can try, like employing interact stage into your next lesson. It's going to be very interesting for the student, and they learn. I mean, even for us, we can, like even for us in real life, we make friends better if we are put in a community, right? So it also very logical for students to think in a groups of words, to know the relationship between them instead of just learning the individual words. Oh, with 4 columns. Oh, so can you elaborate on the 4 columns that they use? The concept map. I think that it is another interesting idea that all the teachers here want to learn.
Okay, so can you see like that is one column. So for example, I want to teach the mainstream, the word mainstream. So you can see there are 4 corners, and the word in the center, the main word in the center of that, and it also have 4 columns. So one corner is about a definition. So I put it everyone learning together in one place, and for the second corner, so I put the sentence. So it means inclusion is important so that everyone feel equals and includes. And I also ask the student to interact with each other to find out some example. So they will talk to each other and put the example like children with the disabilities in general education classroom. And they also pop up with some idea about related words like included, belong, or integration. So when they can know all aspect about this word mainstream, so I think they can learn very deeply about this word.
Very nice sharing. Thank you so much again. Oh, and I think that like Miss Vivian, I think that you must have, like a lot, you have organized a lot of activities and a lot of learning materials for your student because you have it right beside you. Check it out. It's just a blink of an eye. Okay, it's very cool. I think that is another example of interact stage material that you can use. Okay, very good. And after this part, you can come into the most, you can come into the last stage, but also very important, which is integrate. In this part, it helps the student to use the vocab simultaneously. Sorry. I mean, like they can use the word without having to translate it again or having to looking at a piece of reading again in order to remember the word. Okay, they can use the word very impulsively. So it is the integrate part, and it is the aim of this stage. Okay, so the student have to make sentences in speaking or in writing using the vocab. Or they can paraphrase ideas using the vocab or create new sentences using the vocab. And it's better that you have the student practice in both speaking and writing form. Maybe usually I use speaking form in the class and writing form at home as a homework, or vice versa. Okay, so there are a lot of activities that you can use, and the most basic one will be the sentence building. You can ask a student you give the student maybe 2 to 3 words, and you ask them to create a sentence or even a short story based on those words, so that they can know how to connect together, but in full sentences. Or even you can use some platform like Quizlet or Booklet to help create some game or some activities for students to follow. Okay, and I myself use the sentence building activity a lot. But let's have a deeper discussion on each level of class. Okay, for example, sentence building. It's okay for IELTS class because they have pretty high level of English proficiency. But for kid class, sentence building, when you give them two keywords and you ask them to make a sentence or even a short paragraph based on the two keywords, I don't think they can make it. So now I would like we to have a further discussion on the application of 3I framework, okay, into our class. Maybe IELTS, maybe KIT, maybe communication. Oh, for communication, I have another problem, which is my students don't want to learn about reading. They think that is a waste of time. I just want to learn about listening and speaking. So I think it would be nice if we can discuss the way to apply it into our communication class based on some problems that we encountered like that. Okay, so before we brainstorm the ideas, I would like to know what level of student, what level of class do you usually teach? Can you share with me in the chat box? What level of class do you usually teach? What level of class do you focus on? Is that K-12? If it's K-12, can you share with me, is that primary or secondary or high school? Or is that IELTS or KIT or a communicative class? Can you share with me in the chat box? Oh, so you teach a variety of classes, right? Kids, teen, high school students. Okay, any of you here are like trained your student for international certificate, like IELTS, TOEIC, or Cambridge? Okay, I see. Now, so I think that we all agree that the application of the framework will vary according to the class that they teach, that you teach. So I would like to listen to your opinion about application. And I want you to please use 2 minutes to brainstorm the method of application in your most teaching class. So, for example, Miss Lee, can you please share with the class, share with the teachers here about the way you apply, that you can apply the 3I framework in KIT class. There's gonna be a ton of problems in KIT class that may prevent you from applying 3I framework if you are not well prepared for it. For example, for kids, they don't really have ability for integrate stage. It's pretty hard for them to build sentences without instruction, right? So how can you adapt the 3I framework to that limitation? Okay, for example, for kid class, integrate stage, how can you make it suitable for the kids? Or Miss Vivian, I would like maybe for high school students, they will be on a higher level of English proficiency. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to listen to your application when you teach in the higher level classes like IELTS or I mean like B2 class because at grade 12 they are required to achieve the B2 level, right? So maybe B2 or IELTS. There's gonna be some other problems, maybe about their in cooperation, the lack of cooperation.
Okay, so I will use one model to apply a lot of kind of student. I really like something hand-on experience, so this is pop-up, right?
Oh, there's a card?
Yes, it's a card. It's a pop-up.
Oh my God, it's self-made? Is it self-made?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So
Oh my God. You
this is have the word Happy Valentine here, so this is not my handmade.
okay.
But I can use this for three kind level of students here. Like for example, for the kid class, the lowest level, so I will show it and I will ask them when you see the heart, so what word you feel that's relevant to it. So maybe they will find love here. Or they can find roses. So that is like have the roses here.
Okay.
And they also have like something sweet as a candy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they need to discussion with each order and then come out with the answer. And then so I just encourage for the involvement. So maybe they can so they can move and then they can move and then do some movement to show about the topic today. Is they talk about the Valentine Day or the Mother's Day. And then like we can scaffolding for some work, like when you love your mother and you want to give the gift to her, you want to write a card for her, so what you will put into your card, and then after that, so give a lot of scaffolding and then allows them to produce the full sentence by their own in the end of the lesson. But like for the IELTS class, it's not easy like that. But still show it, make them interesting, especially for the teenager. But give them the options, give them choose. So give them choose like, do you like Valentine or not? So Valentine is a traditional holiday in Vietnam or not? And then ask them to analyze and compare about the holiday in Vietnam that show the love and the Valentine Day. Yeah.
Okay. I see. That's very interesting. So you can utilize only a piece of material in different levels of plots. And what matters here is the question you ask.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, based on your need, your purpose, and then you can do all the work in your hand.
Okay. It will be very time consume, very time saving and effort saving for us, right? Not just like have to prepare different materials for different classes. Okay, wow, it's very, very effective way. I think that you, it's pretty nice for me to learn from you, Miss Vivian, okay, about how to save your material, how to make use of your materials the most.
I can see you shining because we're talking about love, so I'm pretty sure you're looking for love.
That's why you take out of that piece. Okay. Oh, I think that like we all here want to listen to that topic. So I think that's a good choice. Okay. Well, I think that it is a very good idea, right? That we all can learn from Miss Vivian. And here we also have Miss Lan. Miss Lan, told that the 3I framework can be applied to all those 3 levels of class. And Miss Lan, can you share more about your idea? Like, how can you apply them? Is that the same way as Miss Vivian, or you have a different approach?
Okay, I completely agree with the Miss Lay. Yeah, and I think that these are 3 I's can be applied to all teaching approach. For example, in IELTS class, even though I have never taught it before, however, I think that identify can be used to for teacher to student to get familiar with the words like sustainable pollution, converse, etc. And when come to the second I, student discuss vocabulary relationships by discussing about the effects on the environment, for example, or the causes of pollutions, and for integrate, I think student can use those vocabulary in speaking or writing tasks. Yeah, and when talk about kid class, I think in this level, teacher can should use picture, flashcards, or gesture to introduce words. And when come to the second I is interact. Teacher can organize matching games or picture word connections or even make up simple questions, simple sentences like what do you see in the picture? What is it? Yeah. Etc. I think yeah, there are so many cases. It depends on the level of student and the situation we are in. We can make use to teach our students with these are 3 I's. And for other classes, um, I think that for the first I, students find new vocabulary in reading text and guess the meaning from context or highlight the useful collocations as well. Yeah, and for the second I, they can also use those words to discuss about that topic. And when integrating, they can use those vocabulary in write a paragraph or short presentations or speaking tasks. Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you so much. Your answer is very detailed, and I think that like it will represent. I mean, like the idea, right? The opinion, the thoughts of most of the teachers here. Thank you so much, Mr. Lan. Okay, and I think that all of us have, like all of you have, like recommend some very effective ways for other teachers to follow, and especially we all agree on a thing that the 3I framework can be applied to all different levels of classes. It depends on the students and it depends on the way you teach them. So, and for us teacher, it depends on the questioning techniques that we use. Okay, so I bet that you have heard questioning techniques a lot, and there are different techniques when you give questions to the student, ranging from CCQ, I mean like concept checking question. Okay, like you ask you raise question to ask the student if to see whether they understand the meaning behind the text, or even like ICQ, like we have the instruction checking question. It will the instruction checking questions depends on your task that you give to the student, and then you ask, you give instruction to them. So like what you said before, if you teach class, the instruction must be pretty simple for them to follow. But if you teach IELTS class, the instruction can be related to IELTS test, or can be pretty like a bit advanced, so that the student cannot see, don't see it very. Don't feel bored when they have to answer pretty simple questions. Okay, so it depends on us. So you don't need to prepare many materials, teaching materials. You can utilize, make use of one. With different question techniques, you can teach different levels of class. Okay, it's a very interesting conclusion for today, and it also the end of my section, my sharing today. And I hope that after this sharing, you can not only understand what is the 3I framework, but you can utilize it in all your levels of classes. And thank you so much. Okay, and I think that it's also pretty late now, right? And you are a bit exhausted after 1.5 hours of us sharing and discussing about reading and writing skill together. So Miss Ngân, please, do you have any other opinion or other thoughts to share with the teachers here? I think that they are the very experienced and very dedicated teacher who prepare a lot of activities and who like for the students to make the lessons very interactive and engaging.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how our teachers like prepare the lessons with many activities, and I really like the teaching activities that Miss Vivian talked about. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Mỹ Ngân and Hoàng Ngân, for such a very productive section tonight. And to conclude our talk, can you please just pick out some active participants who will be rewarded with the reload gifts, and we'll be sending the gifts to them after the talk today.
Okay, so I think Miss Vivian and Miss Nguyễn. Okay, that's yeah.
Okay.
Else you want to add,
I
Miss?
also thank you so much, and I share the same opinion with Mỹ Ngân. And from my point of view, I also want to appreciate Miss Miss Lam Nguyễn contribution to the section. And yes, and Miss Lee Nguyễn for your very constructive comments and interaction during the section.